Hello everyone, welcome to Cellopedia, this is Maxim. Today is a very exciting lesson because we will get a chance to learn how to play with vibrato. In order to do it well, we need to answer three basic questions. What is vibrato? Why to use it? And how to play with vibrato. Okay, what is vibrato? Let me play you the same note two times. One time without vibrato and then with vibrato. What kind of difference did you hear? Did you hear the difference in volume or in the pitch? And the answer is quite tricky. It actually did not change the volume, even though it might seem to be that playing with vibrato makes it louder. But it did affect the pitch of the note. It made it more complex. When you play without vibrato, your finger is pressing on the same spot of the string. Now, if I play in the slow motion, you will hear this sound. Did you hear that the pitch of the sound was changing? Since I was rotating my finger, making it to touch a little bit higher spot on the string and then lower, this kind of motion created the change in the pitch. You move the finger this way and you hear that sound gets higher. And then you move your finger other way and then you hear that sound gets lower. Now, let's imagine that I would just try to move my finger higher and lower on the string. That makes somewhat ugly sound, definitely not pleasant to listen to. And in order to avoid this kind of sound, we will need to learn how to make vibrato in a faster, smoother way. Okay, now we learned that vibrato is changing the pitch of the sound, making it higher and lower in very quick succession. The second big question, why to use vibrato? All string instruments are very special for their ability to make a sound with vibrato. It makes it so much closer to human voice. When we talk, like I do now, or when we sing, well, I'll spare you from hearing me to sing, then our voice is making vibration. It doesn't stay the same. Even if you try to sing with the same steady pitch, it's close to impossible. And we got used to this vibration of the human voice. And then when we hear the musical instruments able to produce this kind of vibration, we treat it as a very special, very warm, deep sound. And then when we hear string instruments making the same vibration, we like it because it's so close to our heart. It's so close to the way we speak and we sing. And big question number 3, how to play with vibrato. It is very important to understand that, like everything you do while learning the cello, you have to do it step by step. Just trying to copy someone playing with a wonderful vibrato will make you disappointed. The first step we need to choose the finger we will try to play with vibrato. Usually, it's the second finger. It's a strong finger, and also it's positioned right in the middle between other fingers. Because when you will play with vibrato, it will be very important to keep a good balance. Remember, you will try to alternate the pitch to make it higher and lower, and this will have to be done in quick succession. And the only way to do it is to make sure that you feel that your left hand is well balanced. Second finger, and a very important thing, to keep your thumb touching the neck of the cello. This way you will have 2 points of the balance. Otherwise, if you take the thumb off the cello neck, your wrist will lose the balance, and it will be very hard to figure out which way to move it. Let's start with playing with a very slow vibrato. It might not sound the way you would expect, but it will create very good foundation of your vibrato technique. Even though it sounds as if I'm just sliding up and down with my finger, I'm not doing that. Look, if you would try to change the pitch just by moving your finger up and down, it will sound more like this. And it would be impossible to play with a fast vibrato using this sliding technique. What I'm actually doing is I'm rotating my wrist, and it helps my second finger to touch different spots of the string. It is extremely important to understand how that works. I would strongly suggest to avoid rotating the wrist. Most of the beginners try to do it this way, and they are getting stuck. Imagine that you have just one bone from here to your elbow, and the only way you can rotate your wrist is to do it this way. Of course, it simplifies the process of making vibrato, but I think that's better to do it this way rather than make it extremely complex. Try to play very low notes and moving your left hand in a slow motion. After some time, you can start increasing the speed. When you try to use faster vibrato, the most important mistake to avoid is to avoid pressing too hard. You might figure out that if you press a lot with your fingers, then your wrist will somehow start to shake, and then you will hear this kind of vibration. And this kind of vibrato sometimes is what beginners get. And if you get used to that, it will be extremely hard to unlearn it, to change it. So from the beginning, make sure that you rather choose slower vibrato, and you make sure that your wrist, your elbow are relaxed. If you think that very often you will have to play 10, 15, 20 minutes long pieces of music, basically without stopping and using vibrato for most of the notes, you will understand how important it is to keep your left hand relaxed. You might just want to try to play with vibrato even without the bow. Just imagine that you are making the best sound in the world and try to enjoy it and relax. And your goal should be to do it like this for a minute or two without getting tired. After you get some experience playing with the second finger, you need to switch to the first finger you can hear that I'm using fairly slow vibrato speed. And I'm paying attention that my thumb is in a good contact with the cello neck and that I'm not rotating the wrist in a random way. Another very useful exercise would be to start with very slow vibrato and then gradually try to increase its speed. It will work like this. And then you can use the third finger and pinky. Making vibrato with pinky, the fourth finger, is especially tricky. Very often you can actually play with a very good vibrato using two fingers. Try to reinforce your pinky by putting the third finger next to it. And you can still make vibrato when two of your fingers, third and fourth, are on the string. It will work this way, from slow speed to faster speed. Once you get more experience, you can try using your fourth finger without extra help from your third finger. Few extra tips. Using vibrato with most of the fingers, again, with possible exception of the fourth finger, will just require you to put one finger on the string. When you do it, try to avoid lifting other fingers too high or keeping them too much apart from the finger you are using for vibrato. If you end up playing like this, or like this, this is something to work on. You will need to correct it. The proper way is to keep all other fingers closer to each other. This will ensure that your wrist will have proper balance and it will be way easier to start and maintain proper vibrato. And again, be patient. At first, your vibrato will be slow and clumsy. If you push yourself too hard right away, then your wrist will get tired. And getting used to play with a sore wrist or elbow or shoulder, it's the worst thing you can do to yourself. Your technique will suffer, you will stop enjoying playing cello, and that might even affect the health of your body. When you feel that your muscles are sore, that means that's a signal for you to stop just for a few seconds to get a little bit of rest and restart working, but trying to find a way to relax and be more sensitive with the way you're using your fingers, wrist, or your left hand. It is good to be able to share few simple tips about the way to use vibrato. I'm sure that with time you'll get way more experience and your vibrato technique will get more refined. And that's a wonderful process. As always, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.